Kush's movie review.
Welcome everyone to Kush's movie review, a very special YouTube exclusive Kush's movie review, where Kush is one by one work his way through the Oscars, aka the Academy Awards Best Picture nominees. This week is The Anatomy of the Fall, a fantastic deep dive into the leaves that are happening in America in around September to October when they all turn brown and thorny. So, oh, look at the foliage, and people from New York drive up to Vermont and go, "Oh my God, this is beautiful." The end.
No,
No, okay.
no, that's all right. That's all right, buddy. Next time. You'll get it next time. You'll get it.
Uh,
So I was a little premature. I said this would be our last movie before we talk about Oppenheimer. We still have one more to go, Zone of Interest. So that will be next week's episode. So tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this, Anatomy of a Fall. It is rated R, and it's a lengthy 2 hours and 30 minutes.
oh Jesus!
It's a French film, but
Ooh la
it's
la.
also in English, but half of it is also in French. So be prepared to do some reading. This doesn't bother me, but apparently bothers a lot of you. So this is written and directed by Justine Treat, with co-writing by Arthur Harari, if I'm saying that correctly. This is already nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, which is Sandra Hüller. She got a little umlaut over the U there. Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Editing. Or no, excuse me, just regular screenplay and then Best Editing. Again, starring Sandra Hüller, Milo Machado-Graner. That's the son. Everybody's in French here. Swann Arlaud, that's the lawyer, and then Antoine Reinartz. He is the prosecution, and quite frankly, his character is a motherfucker. Basically, what happens is this family, they live in the rural part of France where, neighbors aren't for miles. They live up on a mountain. And one day, the blind son takes the dog out for a walk, and only mom is home. And then something happens, and dad is discovered dead outside of the house. It looks like he's fallen, or was he pushed?
Oh,
Was this house invasion gone wrong? Was this a murder? Was this a suicide attempt? That is what this movie explores. Um, they very immediately dismiss the home invasion theory. So it comes down to, did this man kill himself? And everyone's just like, even her lawyer's just like, yeah, we're old friends, and I don't think you could hurt a fly, but even I don't believe this asshole killed himself. Like, we got a lot to discuss here. And this thing goes on forever. I don't mean that as a pejorative way where I'm saying the movie is boring. I found it quite fascinating. It was a very interesting look into the French justice system. Um, Mike, I don't know how much. Well, actually, you're a big fan of the Judge Judy, so sometimes there are cases where you the plaintiff and the defendant will be at two separate tables, and the judge will be able to engage them both. Sometimes you're again both parties at two separate tables, but then only once called to the witness stand can someone question somebody. And well, apparently in the French court, like, despite whoever the witness is in the box or whoever we're interviewing, we can always go back to the plaintiff. Like, so when you thought about killing your husband based on what this guy said here, why did it's just like this woman just gets hammered for over a year. It's quite frustrating at times. The just the whole process, and the fact that this woman's pretty confident that she didn't murder her husband, and but there's so many extraordinary circumstances involved. Um, Again, it's a slow burn. I think any housewife who binge watches Investigation Discovery Channel, I think they're gonna love this movie. It already did a big thing at the BAFTA last night, the British Art, Film, and Television Awards. I believe they got Best Screenplay, and then I think best actress. I might have to double check that last one. But anyways, this is a very good movie. I remember seeing a trailer for it when I was in Amsterdam and going like, "Oh, I would like to see that." And then it never. I'm sure it made its way to San Francisco, but it didn't come to my local Regal, which is very disappointing. But we would see this on Amazon for a rental price of $5.99. Like I said, very good movie. Definitely a slow burn. Would I remove anything from it? No. I would like to speed things up a little bit, but it is what it is. However, I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.
Would you say that this movie has a certain je ne sais quoi?
Sure.
Thank you.
I wish I could expand on that. Like, I know that phrase, but in this one context, I don't know what the hell you said to me.
Certain je ne sais quoi is a French term. I don't think it has a
I got
direct
that part.
English connection. Oh, it just means it just has a certain something special that.
Yeah, it's different. It's different from any of the other 10 movies up for Best Picture this year. So, but that is the point.
So it has. So it's a murder mystery. That's what we're saying.
Yes. If I have a complaint, regardless of what the outcome of the movie was, I wish we had seen what had happened to husband.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you just see out of nowhere dead body.
yeah. Again, son comes home. Dad's just lying dead in the snow, blood pouring from his head, turning to ice. Yeah, that's how the movie starts. So,
I mean, that seems to be a thing these days, where it's like, oh, you just jumped in the deep end. Shit's happened. Go.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and again, there's a build to that, but again, that's how the movie starts. So there's a man dead. We don't meet this gentleman until he is dead, but he is a presence for the first 5, 6 minutes of the movie, and then when he dies, we finally meet him. Again, we go into his history. We talk about mental health. It's a whole thing. So it's very good. Again, my biggest complaint is I would have liked to have actually seen what had happened, regardless of what conclusion they
What
came to.
happened?
So, what else here? Oh, next week again. So, Zone of Interest next week, also starring the aforementioned Sandra Hüller. I don't know how she did that, but good for her. So, we will talk more about Sandra Hüller next week.
Now, before we leave
Yeah,
the
man. You have
the
questions.
the
I have
fort,
answers.
is it all in en français?
No, it's 50-50.
Oh, it's 50-50.
Half
So
French, half English.
so at no point you're like
I didn't understand a one word you said.
Plenty of subtitles, and even when stuff's in English, I watch it with subtitles. But when the movie had started in English, I thought I'd got some broke ass dub of it. I was like, no, I don't want to see the English dub. I want to see the original
oh
French film. And no, it's literally French and English, so it goes back and
yeah,
forth
no,
quite a bit.
it,
The main character, she is while she is German, she did a lot of time in England, so she knows German, she knows English very well. She does not know French. Husband from France also knows English, so they have this weird thing where like even though they have a kid that they've had for over a decade, like they still don't have a proper connection because anytime they have to converse, it's always in English. She don't speak French, he don't speak German, and
that they're always
that gets
using
on
their
his
second
nerves.
language.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, if you're finding this for the first time, if you're finding Kush's movie review on YouTube, this is your first introduction to the Waffle Box universe. I've always said I'm personally not a big fan of subtitle movies just because I like to be able to watch. I like to see the facials and stuff like that. So just be me having to look down and read. I feel like I'm losing something from the movie by reading and not seeing the movie, if that makes sense. But what's way worse, what possibly is roughly 468% worse than that, is the dubbed movies because they never get the cadence right. It's not. It's always just, it's terrible. They're always terribly dubbed, and it just takes you out of the thing. It's like like the what was the? I think this actually might be French as well. It was on Netflix. It was a TV series about a master criminal. I can't remember the name of it now. Lupin. Oh yes.
Yeah, Lupin the Third.
Such a great show, but the dubbed you can just tell that. Oh my god, it was one of those shows that made you. I wish I knew French because I would much rather watch the French version of this than watch the crappy English dub version. But yeah. So.
Just because we have so many crappy English dubs that it makes me mad that I am not doing any of those crappy English dubs. Like I don't necessarily do voices, but I have a voice. I can go like, so where were you when your husband fell out of the window? Are you not a stupid bitch? But what do you mean you don't know where you were? But I can totally do that.
The English dubs always seem so chill. Like no matter what's happening. Oh yes, so then my husband was murdered. Oh, that sucks. Oh yes, I was very upset. Like, what? This is what? Why are you talking like this?
Oh, what before we go, one more thing, a disclaimer. There is a scene where the son poisons the dog. And at first I was like, why the fuck are you doing that? There's a rhyme and a reason for it. And again, guys, this is France, so it's a whole different environment over there. But that stuff upsets people out here, so just be warned. At one point, the kid just like, yeah, I'm just giving this dog a bunch of Tylenol.
I think poisoning dogs is bad no matter where you are. Well, I don't say no matter where you are, but I believe French people are very pro dogs too.
Well, it is a weird scene. There's context and substance to it, but at the same time, I was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Do you know what I want to make? I want to take the actor because I'm going to assume the main actor from Lupin, is a Frenchman.
Okay.
I'm going to assume that since he was in a French, I could be wrong. But I
Lupin's
believe
a weird thing. So Lupin's a French character based on a Japanese anime / manga.
Well, no, it's based. Isn't it based off? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I thought it was based off some books, the detective books.
Manga. That's a manga. Yes, sir.
Whatever. Anyway, the fact is, I'm assuming the main actor from Lupin is French, right?
I guess so. I've never seen it.
And he's a pretty badass guy. He looks the part. And so I want to do a French version. So I want to have a new movie series where this actor specifically, he is like a retired hitman.
Sure.
And then someone murders his dog. And then he starts a series, John Wick. And
I can't co-sign on this. I cannot co-sign on this.
It would be great. Just a French guy just going around murdering people.
I mean, that movie. You already have Liam Neeson for Taken, although he's Irish. Oh,
and also you also have Keanu Reeves playing John Wick.
Yeah. Oh, John. I haven't heard that in the last 2 minutes. So it's fascinating you brought that up.
And then you could have the multiverse version where you could have John Wick versus John Wick. Mm-hmm. And it'd be amazing.
Sure.
I mean, we could be the revival of French cinema.
Probably we'll just leave that to the French.
Although, I mean, they are nominated for a Best Picture in the Oscars, so I'm sure they're doing fine by themselves.
They're doing pretty good. Next week's Zone of Interest is also a Best Foreign Film, which, it's pretty strange. So, anyways, like I said, Anatomy of a Fall, 4 out of 5. Mike, let's wrap this up, dude. Come on.
Let's wrap this up real quick, though. I do want to say, before we wrap this up, I do want to give a shout out to these movies, though, because it is nice that finally these movies are getting recognition for Best Picture, because I mean, I know that there is still a thing, but before it was always on the Academy Awards, the Oscars, there was always this kind of like side thing of like, oh, and now we're going to give away Best Movie where they talk funny, don't they? Like it was always like this like side. Oh yeah, there's some foreign movies over here. We'll give them a award, I guess. So it's nice that there are now quote unquote foreign movies now coming into the Best Picture movie. They're actually getting their recognition finally.
I'd say they always squeeze in one, honestly.
Well, they
should, at least for the last 25 years.
I'm not saying we should have what's the word what's the key word they always use? Appropriation, not appropriation, that's the wrong word. Representation for representation's sake. But I just can't believe that if you're really talking about the best 10 movies are in the world in a whole year, it just so happens that all 10 of them are in English. Like
sometimes you only get 5. So, anyways, Anatomy of a Fall, rated PG-13, or excuse me, rated R, available on Amazon Prime for a low rental of $6, 4 to 5. Mike, wrap it up.
Justice for the French. Ooh la la. See you next time. Take care of yourselves and each other.
That's all, folks.
Play me off, Johnny.